Yo, what up? How we doing, students? Like, I actually don't care about you. Chandler, how you doing? Just specifically Chandler campus. You're the only campus I care about. Just kidding. It's cool. We're all here together. One church, many locations. Here's the deal. When I was in college, freshman year of college, my sister was a junior in high school. And I was in Michigan. I was still living with my parents because I was super cool. And in Michigan, there was this thing that happens sometimes where it would snow. I don't know if you guys know what snow is. It's like white, comes from the sky. And what's cool about snow is sometimes snow makes school get canceled. And we would wake up in the morning, and this is before the internet because I'm old, and you would look on the TV and like the ESPN ticker across the bottom, it would say what schools would get canceled. And you would watch and you would hope and you would cheer for your school. And there was one specific morning where I remember my sister's high school got canceled, and she's stoked and she's excited. And I'm like watching, hoping that my college would get canceled. And I'm just watching and watching and watching, and of course it doesn't get canceled. And I'm frustrated and I'm angry, and I don't know if you're at all like me, but if you're frustrated and you're angry, you start just like lashing out at people. I'm lashing out at my mom and my dad and my sister like it's her fault that my college didn't get canceled. And I go and I just stomp outside. I get in my parents' minivan, I slam the door. And I drive off, and I'm just like muttering, like under my breath. And I'm driving out, and I get out of my subdivision, this like back road subdivision, and I remember thinking out loud to myself, and not even thinking it, I said it out loud. Hey, why is school even canceled? The roads aren't even bad. And that was me hitting the truck right in front of me, right after I said that. And my car was totaled. And I don't know if you know this about ice, but I hit the brake and nothing happened. And I do this thing where like nothing's happening. I tried to turn this way and nothing happened. Then I tried to turn back this way, which was really stupid because if it worked, I would be going into oncoming traffic. But luckily it didn't happen. I slammed into the back of this truck, and we pull off to the side, and my van's totaled. The truck there's nothing wrong with it because it's a truck. And then I had to make the worst phone call an 18-year-old can make. And that's, Mom and Dad, hey, so you know your car? And if you've had to make that phone call, you know how much that sucks. Here's the deal. There was no point to that story. Literally, this is the point. I just told you a story and you cared. And this is what's wild. We have been hardwired to care about stories. It's weird. Like, we've been designed with stories in mind. We love telling stories. We love hearing stories. Your entire evenings revolve around stories because you just sit on a couch and you plug in Netflix. You don't plug it in. I don't know what you do with Netflix. But you sit down, you watch Netflix or Hulu or like Amazon Prime or YouTube, whatever it is, and you just consume stories nonstop. And they can be fictional and full of like fantasy and wizards and dwarves and stuff, or they can be real. Like, there's something awesome about a movie that starts with the based on a true story. Oh, that speaks to me. And you as you get older are going to care about this more. A lot of you guys as moms right now are like knee deep in those like serial killer podcasts. My moms listen to those. And it's like, Mom, I love you, but it's a lot of Jeffrey Dahmer in your ears right now. It's kind of, it's stressing me out a little bit. Or your dads, maybe your dads only watch the History Channel. Like how can you watch another World War II documentary? And that's what's coming to you. When you get older, you're going to watch documentaries. But you already kind of do that already. I think a lot of you, like girls right now, a lot of you, you're all caught up with the Kardashians. Like, you've watched all of it. You care about all of the stories. And some of you guys are making fun of reality TV. You guys watch reality TV too. It's called sports. It's just, sports is just reality TV without makeup. And there's pettiness and there's competition and it doesn't matter. But the Suns are good. Let's cheer for the Suns. Yeah, Suns. Woo! And I get sucked into caring about sports. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. I don't know, maybe your dad's, I'm old, so maybe your dad's cared a lot about the Masters this weekend. And I would be telling people about Tiger Woods like they cared about Tiger Woods this weekend. Like, it's a big deal. He was hurt and he came back. It was his first tournament. And there's something about our brains that are wired to feed on stories. And that's why I find the Bible fascinating, because the Bible is just a bunch of stories. And what's cool about the Bible is almost all of the stories are true historical stories that happened. There's some stuff in the New Testament where Jesus tells parables. This is a side ad right here. Parables are just allegory stories. You probably know this already. We're not even talking about parables tonight. But at camp this summer, that's all we're talking about. So quickly, just on your campus, raise your hand if you're not signed up for camp. Everybody's like too embarrassed. Yeah, good. Sign up. Feel terrible. Okay. But the Bible's full of stories, and there's a story in John that I find fascinating about. It's the story of Jesus, and it's Jesus and this Samaritan woman at the well. And what you need to know about this Samaritan woman is see, Jesus, he's Jewish. You may know this, but here's what you need to know. The Jewish people and the Samaritan people did not like each other. This is like a Will Smith, Chris Rock scenario. Like, they are not getting along, and they would avoid each other. They would avoid each other at all costs, except Jesus decides to walk through Samaria, which is already kind of crazy that he did that. But he walks through Samaria, and he stops at a well. And it's weird that he stops at a well in the middle of the day, which is not when you want to stop at a well because it's really hot and no one gets water in the middle of the day. But because he's Jesus, he probably knew this was going to happen. This woman walks up to the well. And we're going to find out in a second, but Jesus knows this already, and you could actually probably figure this out from the story. Not only is she a Samaritan woman, she's an outcast because she's going to the well in the middle of the day. She's avoiding the crowds because if she shows up with the crowds, everybody's going to be talking about her. What we come to find out is that this woman, Jesus knows this because he's Jesus, has had 5 different husbands, has been sleeping around in this town, is with a different dude right now. And Jesus calls this out in her in a way that's crazy because Jesus is wild. He doesn't call it out in her in a way of like, you're gross, you're full of sin, you're dirty, you're unclean. Jesus calls it out in this, hey, I see you. I see that you've been searching and grabbing for purpose, for worth, for value, and you've been just reaching at guy after guy after guy. And he's basically saying to her, is it working? Is the thing that you're doing working? And then he offers her a different solution. He offers her a better way, and that way is just pursuing Jesus. And I don't know about you, but when I read that story, I feel like I'm in that story, and maybe you're in that same boat. There are a lot of people in this room and in rooms all across the valley that Jesus has like showed up in your life in a crazy way. And granted, you probably haven't had 5 husbands, but I think there's a moment when you're sitting, maybe it's happening at camp, maybe it's happening at church, maybe it's happening in a room by yourself, where you feel like you've been doing a really good job of hiding all the hurt and pain in your life. You've been hiding all the sin. You've been telling everybody about it, but it seems like in that moment that Jesus is looking right into your life and he's seeing all of it. But what's crazy is he doesn't look at you like you're broken and you're dirty and you're messed up. He looks at you like, I love you. I care about you. I see what you're trying to do, and is it working? And for a lot of us, myself included, we've answered that call to Jesus and say, you know what, the way I've been working things out has not been working. And I'm going to allow Jesus to show up in my life and change everything about me. And that's what this woman at the well did. She accepted Jesus in that moment. And when Jesus becomes the thing in your life, you sign up for 2 things the rest of your life. We say these things all the time, and I'm going to keep saying them because they matter. When you sign up to pursue Jesus, this is your life. Your life is, number 1, how do I look more like Jesus every single day? How do I do what I can to be more like Jesus? And that's incredibly hard. It's difficult. You're going to keep working at it. The whole last series we just did was about being Jesus at school and in work and in the way that you like attack things. And you're never going to figure that out. You're going to constantly be working at it. But you should constantly be working at it. But the second thing that you're called to do, is to tell other people about Jesus. Hey, live a life that looks like Jesus, and then second, tell other people about Jesus. And I think this is where a lot of us go, oh boy, like I don't actually want to tell people about him. Like, can't they just see Jesus in my life? Matthew says this, go and make disciples. Go tell other people about Jesus. That's what we're called to do. We're called to live like Jesus and tell other people like Jesus. So back to this woman at the well, this is what's so crazy. The coolest verse in this whole story happens a few verses later. And listen, I'm going to, full disclosure, look it. I spent, go to this, erase. Guys, I spent a solid part of my Thursday afternoon on the dark web of the internet finding a spray paint font to match this stupid logo. And it doesn't even look that good, right? It's not even that good. But I tried really hard. But listen, this verse is the best verse in this whole story. And it says this. It says, many of the Samaritans from that town believed in him, which is Jesus. This is Jesus. Believed in Jesus because of the woman's testimony, which is just another word for story. Here's the reality. This is what happened. Jesus sits down at this well with this woman, and he changes her life. And she runs back to her town. And here's the reality. I think a lot of us are in this exact same seat as this woman where Jesus showed up in our life. He's done crazy things, and we ran back to our town. And our town looks a little bit different than her town. Our town might be our team that we're on. It might be our family. It might be our friends. It might be our school. And I imagine just like this woman, you get back to the gates at your town, and you're staring in, and you're thinking like, whoa, wait a second. I know I'm supposed to tell people about Jesus, but is my story good enough? Like, I don't know all the answers. I haven't read the whole Bible yet. I'm not a pastor. I'm not a coach. What if they ask me something I don't know? And we get to the edge of our town, and we just are like, oh, I don't think I can do it. And here's what's so cool about Jesus. He knows from the very beginning that we are wired to tell stories. I'm wired to listen to stories. And all that he asks of us, all that he asks of this woman, hey, can you just tell your story? Can you just tell people what Jesus has done in your life? These next 3 weeks, we're going to unpack what it could look like for you to tell people about Jesus. And I'll be honest, I think, like me personally, I tend to overthink this a little bit. And I think it actually can be a lot easier than this. I think we don't have to overthink it. I think we literally can just think about it like this. Hey, this is what my life looked like before Jesus. These are the things I was doing. These are the things I was searching for. And it wasn't working. And then Jesus showed up in my life. And he changed my perspective. And now my life looks like this. And what if we were Christ-centered difference makers that weren't afraid to share our story? What if we were students that weren't so afraid of the perfectness of our story, but we realized that, man, our job is just to tell people about how Jesus has affected us. My encouragement for this series for us is that when we go back to our town, whether it's the team you're on, whether it's the family that you live with, whether it's the friends that you've known just like your whole life, my prayer is when you go back to that town, you're encouraged and you're reminded about this verse that, hey, this entire town was changed simply because a woman was willing to share her story. Let's be students that share stories. Let me pray for us. Dear Jesus, you're good. Man, we mess this up, don't we? We work so hard to make it complicated, but the reality of it is all we have to do is just say what you've done in our life. Thank you for the truth of that. Help us to be of students that have courage. Jesus, you're awesome. We love you. Especially want to pray for that sound guy who just dropped the iPad. I'm going to tell that story later. Jesus, you're good. We love you so much. In your name, amen.
What's up, students? Come on down if you want. We're going to end service off right with a couple songs. But hey, the point of tonight is that we all have a story to tell. We need to tell it because it's our testimony that can't be refuted. It's what God has done in your life and what he's done in my life that can't be argued away. So let's start off by singing this song. As soon as I sing it, I know you guys are you're gonna know it, and you're gonna sing it out super loud, right? It goes like this. This is my testimony from, yep, 'cause grace rewrote my story. Come on, by Jesus Christ the righteous. Woo! This is my testimony. This is my testimony. Let's go. Hands up. Let's have fun tonight, y'all. I saw Satan fall like lightning. I saw darkness run for cover. But the miracle that I just can't get over, my name is registered in heaven. Yes, it is. I believe in signs and wonders. I have resurrection power, yes I do. Still the miracle that I just can't get over, my name is registered in heaven. Yeah, my praise belongs to you forever. Sing it loud. This is my testimony. Come on, from 'cause grace, I'll testify. By Jesus Christ the righteous. Say, this is. Can we make some noise? Come on. Come together. Come together, sons and daughters. We're bought with blood and washed in water. Sing the praises of the Spirit, Son, and Father. Our God, He'll finish what He started. Yes, our God will finish what He started. Yeah. This is my testimony from death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I'll testify, shout, by Jesus Christ the righteous, I'm justified. This is my testimony. This is my testimony. Yes, it is. Hey. We're telling your story. Yeah. Oh. Like this. 'Cause if I'm not dead, you're not done. Greater things are still to come. 'Cause if I'm not dead, then you're not done. Would you sing it out front to back? Come on. 'Cause greater things. If I'm not dead, then you're not done. You're not done. You're not. Greater things are still to come. Oh, I believe. If I'm not dead, then you're not done. Hey, greater things are still to come. Oh, I testimony. Let's sing from. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. I'll testify. By Jesus Christ the righteous, I'm justified. This is my testimony. Oh, I'm alive. This is my testimony. From death to life. 'Cause grace rewrote my story. testimony. This is my testimony. Yes, it is. I'm telling your story. Yeah. This is my testimony. Yeah. Let's go. Come on, let's sing that. People in wandering, purpose that's drifting, chasing a feeling, a place of belonging. A place we can let go of all of the shame that we borrow. And all of this searching has brought us to one thing. Sing it out, come on. And Jesus is calling out. There's a seat at the table. Lay your burdens down. In heaven, it's getting louder now. We're singing with angels. Can you hear the sound? Jump! The story is changing. The story is changing. From peasant to prince in the making. His presence gives word to our dreaming. A God dream is better than scheming. Sing it. So riches and status we're leaving. The world's got nothing I'm needing. 'Cause the maker who came up with breathing is bringing us into his kingdom. Jesus is calling out. There's a seat at the table. Lay your burdens down. In heaven, it's getting louder now. We're singing with angels. Can you hear the sound? Hear it now, yeah. You hear the sound. I want to hear you guys from front to back sing it out. Come on. And heaven's gates are swung wide. The veil between you and I torn clean apart. Back to the start. You're stepping into this space to bring us out of our graves. Back to your heart. Back to the start, yeah. And heaven's gates have swung wide. The veil between you and I torn clean apart. Back to the start, yeah. You're stepping into this space to bring us out of our graves. Back to your heart, oh, back to the start, yeah. We say Jesus is calling out. There's a seat at the table. Lay your burdens down. Lay 'em down, yeah.
Students, you guys have a story worth telling. Do you believe it? Yes, you do. Well, hey, in a moment here, we're going to head to group time. After group time, we're going to have some more fun out on the fields. We got donut soccer. We got free donuts. We got crossnet. We are kicking this series off with a bang. You guys are awesome. I'll see you guys out on the field.